In this video, we're going to talk about attachments and repairs. So attachments are anything we add onto the pot, like this face here, and repairs are useful both during the making and the drying process. So first of all, we're going to add a face to this pot here to make it a bit like this. Alright, so to make the face, first of all we're going to make the features that we're going to attach. And I'm just going to start rolling out the eyebrows. So I'm just going to cut the coil into two pieces. Next we're going to make the nose. So what I'm trying to do here is taper it in two directions. So it's going to taper up to the top of the nose, and it's also going to taper outwards at the bottom. Okay, let's test fit the pieces and see how they look. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, but if you're not, feel free to remake the pieces or move them around until you are. So I'm just going to mark the pieces now using the needle tool so that I can come back and slip and score and attach them properly. So we've got the scoring now, and I'll also score the back of the pieces I'm attaching. So this roughness is just going to help the pieces stick together, and then we're going to attach the slip. You can add it to either piece, but I'm going to add it to the pot. We don't need to be too neat here because we're going to come back and smooth it all down later. Now let's attach the pieces. So supporting the pot from the inside, I'm just going to apply a light pressure. So the pieces are lightly attached to the pot now, but we're going to want to smooth them down and just bring everything together. The modelling tool is going to be great for this. We can use either end depending on what we're trying to do. And we're just going to smooth the clay of the attachments into the clay of the body. Okay, so everything seems nicely attached now. It's not moving around, but it's still a little rough, so we're just going to work it back in. So we can do this with water and a sponge. So I'm not pressing too hard, and there's not too much water on the sponge. It's really just to smooth back that top layer of clay. So now we've got our nice face pot, let's learn how to add a handle to it. So to make the handle, we're simply just going to create a coil. So I'll just portion the clay, and I'll roll it into a rough sausage, and then we'll put it on the table and keep on rolling it out. And then I'm just going to lightly flatten it out to form it into more of an oval. So the next step is to shape the handle. Based on this pot, I'm just going to lay it on its side, and then I'm going to put the handle out and work out how I want it to look on the finished piece. So I'm happy with this handle shape, but we're just going to need to let it dry for a while so that it's easier to attach. So I'll just put that one out the way for now, and I've got this one I made about half an hour ago. Like you can see, it's a little stiffer, so it's going to be a bit easier to attach to the pot. So let's attach it on. I'll score the pot, and then I'll score the handle. Like any time we attach anything, we don't want to forget the glue. So I'm going to take a little slip and just attach it to the pot. So I take the handle, and then I'm just going to match up the two scored parts. Gently push it down, again using a hand on the inside to stop the pot from deforming. And then I'm just going to smooth down around the join. So I'm pretty happy with that. It seems fairly well attached. We don't want to push it too hard while it's not dry. But I'll just take a little bit of excess clay and use that to smooth in any of the gaps around the edges, so we've got a nice clean line between the handle and the body. So it's complete now. We just want to let it dry for 2 or 3 days, and then we can come back, paint it and decorate it. Now that we've covered additions, let's talk about fixing cracks. So small cracks are inevitable as we're working with the clay. They're just going to form on the top and the rims. So there are two ways of dealing with this. One is with slip and one is with water. I'm just going to use a little water here, like dampen my fingers, and then smooth back any of the cracks around the edges. So you can see that clay is beginning to come together, and we've got a nice smooth finish again. So there we have it. It's a lot smoother, and now we're ready to continue working. So that was a simple crack. How about a bigger break? So this piece has completely come apart, and the clay is quite forgiving, but if it's completely destroyed, you might be better off building the piece afresh. As with additions, we're going to rely on the slip here to glue the two pieces together. I'm just going to score both sides of the piece, and then we'll stick them together. So we get some nice deep scoring here, which increases the surface area and should help the pieces stick together. Next, I'm going to add a generous amount of slip. Then I'm just going to take them and I'm going to push them back together. So there we have it. We've learned how to fix a crack during making and a break during drying. And our number one takeaway for this video is our friend slip. Anytime we're attaching two pieces together, it's really useful to have on hand. So if you're adding any additions or doing any repairs, make sure to make some of this up.